All right. Let's see. So I'm Mike Sarvo. This is Sam Owen, and this is rendering updates. So we've been talking about Unreal Engine quite a bit. You've been using it in beta, and what more can we say? It is as the name implies. And of course, as we're discovering, it's not just about the beauty; it's about what's inside as well. So it is a big improvement on our performance of rendering, and improves the simulation thread operation time as well, because it we can decouple it from the simulation thread and do some multi-threading things. So it's not just great looking; it's very fast, and we're making more improvements to it before we get it into that final 2025. So we're going to show you all about that.
As we presented it in last year's UGM, I think I remember personally saying it looks great, and how good it looks comes free from a performance standpoint. Turns out we were wrong. It comes much, much better from a performance standpoint. It improves the size of models we can have, the amount of CAD in models, the number of loads quite dramatically, and a lot better than we were expecting.
So right now, yeah, you can go in and turn on the beta feature. If you've been trying to use this button, this little checkbox in the options menu, you may have had success with that. You may not have. Simon promises us that the 17.0.04 release, the checkbox will work. So give that a shot.
So we've been gradually adding features in, just as we gradually added the features into the core product. We have to go through these sort of one at a time, making sure they all work in Unreal as well. And that's just a list. We are almost there with everything. So from a performance standpoint, some of the main things that Unreal improves greatly is just reducing the draw calls per frame through something called mesh instancing. So if we have, say, hundreds of loads in a model that are identical, previously we have to render every single load as a separate draw call. Now, because they're the same mesh, we can just render them all at once, and that's a massive improvement in performance. And then obviously utilization of the GPU, multi-threading. Yeah, we're going to see much, much bigger models with this.
Yeah, and in particular, that mesh referencing, if you were importing lots of CAD, right, you might have something that is this cube-type shape somewhere, and it's in lots and lots of different places. With the current graphics, if you were to import a model that had lots and lots of copies of a thing, each one is an individual mesh, and you could fix that. You can improve the performance using some tools that we have to, say, select a mesh and find the other ones, and then tell them that they are all, in fact, the same mesh. They're just in different places, and that would give you that same kind of optimization, but this just does it for free. No effort on your behalf. It figures things out.
And this is all with the high graphics options, but we're going to show you some lower graphics options as well to even further improve performance, smoothness, and usability.
Is this one a video?
This is not.
Okay, cool. Right, so in our current offering with the DirectX graphics, using our awesome new profiler tools, performance profiler tools, you can see how much of your CPU time is being consumed by just rendering the graphics.
If you can't see, because the writing is too small, the gray bit is the rendering. So green is good, gray is bad.
Yeah. And then with the Unreal graphics, it's the same color, it's just much smaller, right? So I'm gonna flick back to the other slide. Right? There's our rendering with DirectX. There's our rendering with Unreal. DirectX, Unreal.
Obviously, the size of the pie is smaller. What that means is there is just so much more spare performance for things like the physics engine, for the simulation engine, for communications with the PLC. It's just freeing up bandwidth. So
again, comparison on a larger scale model, seeing that the amount that that changes. Oh my gosh. This one video. And GPU utilization as well with the high graphics. Oh, and the video started automatically.
Perfect.
So this feature doesn't exist in the release yet, so don't try to do this.
So still using Unreal, still looks pretty good, but this is much more your massive model, sort of design time use and build time use, just taking away some of the features that do make it look great, but do slightly slow down the rendering times there.
But yeah, that gets you that performance. So look at that final frame rate we're looking at there is 30 frames per second. And this is a model that is notorious for just destroying the frame rate.
I'm sure if you recognize it.
So here we're seeing some rendering with additional lighting features.
Yeah, you can see the shadows under the box. You can see there are multiple light sources converging to reduce the size of those shadows there.
And the soft shadows, and where the shadows overlap, you can see how it gets incrementally darker. Just gives it that extra believability.
Just because you would usually do it, Mike, I just gotta say, that's awesome. That's so cool.
Isn't it? This is the kind of stuff that when we do our Friday show and tells and it pops up on the screen, I just go catatonic. I'm all done.
So what makes videos like that look so good is a combination of a few things. So one of them is the illumination reflections. We can now have multiple light sources, as you can see. There are no purple balls there, but you can see spots of purple where the colors are combining nicely, just like the real world. And again, from a performance standpoint, this comes very, very cheap. Another thing that adds to the sort of realism and adds some depth to the models is using normal maps, normal textures. These are used very commonly in games, and they just add depth and a feeling of texture
And Sam,
to
is that
flat
free
faces.
as well?
Almost free, yeah. You have to find the textures yourself, of course. But yeah, these are completely flat faces still. Not just one face to render. There's no actual sort of dimples there.
I can't even. Like it looks like somebody spilled something a little bit on there and tried to wipe it off. Oh, so the different kinds of lights and that you can have multiples. So this is going to be a little bit of a demonstration. We're turning off all the lights and going to bring in some different light objects.
Of course, this is all optional. You don't have to be going in and doing the lighting perfectly on every single one of your models. This is just there's still going to be the sun. You just now have the option to turn it off and really get creative with these with the renders.
Yeah. So the sunlight is a directional, right? So it's the same amplitude all the time from an infinitely far away source, aiming in a direction. And that looks like the sun. These, yeah.
Yeah, just to confirm, are these lightings sources the one that are already in E3D or these additional lightings?
So I don't know if they're going to be the same native lights. They are going to be the same native lights. Okay. Yep.
So this is not a part of the current beta. This is the future release.
Correct.
I think this will actually be available in 17.04
Ooh, that's exciting. So everybody's productivity in this room is going to go down.
But we'll make it back in performance.
Yes, that's right.
And this is just a lovely static image. I don't think there's any custom lighting in this one.
But it looks better than Pavre. Remember all the Pavre rendering that we did over the years? This looks
How-
better than that, and it's just the way that it looks in the software.
How long do you think that would have taken in Pavre, Mike?
Oh, my God. That, probably 2 hours.
3 hours?
Yeah, it's certainly. So Omniverse. So we're looking at all of our Unreal. That's fantastic. It looks almost real. Omniverse can get you to look even more real, and of course, it's about more than just the rendering. The Omniverse. This is about materializing all the different kinds of software, 3D software, into one space. Whether it's us and some partners, whatever you happen to have. If you got an Omniverse connector, you can materialize in the Omniverse. But it looks amazing.
Now, in the Omniverse, this does still come with a bit more of a process to render each frame. You know, this sort of video, we're talking a few hours to render. It's not quite real time. This video in particular, there are real time options, but they don't look quite as good as this.
How many people do create marking materials from your models? So you really love this.
That was what, 80%?
Yeah.
So how was this rendered? Through Omniverse?
Yep. Yeah, this is an Omniverse rendering. So we would have.
Processing.
Yep. And now once you push the Emulate 3D model into Omniverse, you can do more setup work there. You can do camera paths within there. If you don't want to use our camera paths, you can add the additional lighting features that we don't yet support, things like that, things that only exist in the Omniverse tool.
They go much deeper into the materials and textures and that sort of thing as well.
You had this process out there in the store somewhere documented?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, available now.
All right, we've got -1 minute left. So just a couple of quick videos we're going to play for you here, and then we've got to bug out of this presentation and get on to the next one.
So we've been doing a lot of work actually with NVIDIA themselves, specifically on this. Previously, the Omniverse connector didn't handle lots of dynamic loads very well. We've been working directly with them. I think this model specifically was made by them, and adjusting some of the technologies we're using to communicate directly with the Omniverse has allowed us to really expand out the sort of capability of these dynamic loads. So from, we may have struggled with 500 or so before, and now we're getting much higher up there into the thousands.
Is this in regards to the live view?
Yes, this is live, correct. Yeah, you can still record RAWs, bring them into Omniverse, and yeah.
When would you recommend using Unreal Engine versus Omniverse?
So Unreal Engine is going to be in Emulate 3D. It's going to be the view to your model that you see and use every day.
The default. It's just what it's going to be.
Right, okay, so that's like what I'm working with.
Right.
Okay, so that's the graphics, that I'm putting, a catalog.
Yep. While you're just doing your normal model building process or catalog development, whatever you happen to be doing, you're going to be just right in the Unreal Engine all the time.
You're just stepping up the graphics.
Yep.
Correct.
Yeah.
Quite a big step.
Yeah.
The process for Omniverse is more like PowerAy, you create a recording, pipe it through.
What Omniverse also allows us to do is collect different multi-model models together back into one place. So we can run multiple models using our multi-model architecture, and then use Omniverse to basically recombine them into somewhere where we can see what's going on across the wider system.
Yeah, so like the lottery model that we're going to look at later on,
Yeah.
we're going to look at it something like this with different model views. If we had this all sorted with the Omniverse today, we could just see all of it in one space. It'd be great. John, you had a question?
Well, I think it's sort of emphasise the point that it's the aggregation. Well, until 80% of the hands burnt up about marketing material, I was going to say that the hypothesis is it's the aggregation of multiple of our models, but with the architectural software is the big win. So you can see what the steel work is, and you can then lay your factory out, and C-suite can see the whole factory now. That's the expectation. So the Omniverse, for us, the hypothesis was that's the problem we're solving, was the aggregation of all of our stuff with all our other 3D stuff. But having seen the number of hands that went up about marketing, maybe it's that concrete floor.
Yeah.
The Omniverse, it might just be that. But
All right. I think we should end that. Oh, yeah. Perfect.
Any questions? Nope.
nice video.
Perfect.
It obviously shows the steel work and the concrete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Hi.
Yes. Sorry, what was that? The VR? So I'm pulling for it. So the question was, will the VR experience also have these kind of graphics?
You can actually use VR with Omniverse right now. It's not interactive, but you can kind of do more around the model. Unreal is a bit later in the pipeline, so we will have those graphics, and if you just plug it in straight into Omniverse, and you'll walk around the models. It looks exactly the same. You get a bit of lag on bigger models, but it's fine. Unreal is a bit later.
You see your reflection. That's the real thing. When you walk up to the shiny surface, you see yourself.
So you can go into VR in Omniverse now, but it's not interactive like when you're straight in the Emulate 3D. But later on, down the road, we'll extend the Unreal as our platform for the VR. All right. Thank you so much. Oh, we have another question? Oh,
If you like this, you want to pat someone on the back, this is the guy here, Simon Blackwell. Give him a pat on the back.
all right. Thank you. Next up, we've got Tanner Short from